Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prep Talk Live Show. If it's your first time here, my name is Kissa. I am an entrepreneur in the food business here in the Los Angeles area, and I do this live show every single week on Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, just to talk about my journey as an entrepreneur, just talk to you about real life, what's going on with the business, the good and the bad, just to have some transparency, and also talk about life, because when you think about it, when you own a small business, your personal life and your work life really collide together. And it's something that I never really thought was proper or the right thing to do. But when you're a small business owner and you care so much about your business, there's no way that it can, right? So welcome. If this is your first time, all of the information is going to be in the description box below. You can follow me on Instagram. You could subscribe to the channel. I hope this is something that would be useful to you. And let's just jump into it. So usually what I like to do is I like to talk about the previous week, how that went, the upcoming week, any new updates going on with life and business, that type of thing. And then also just share with you something that I'm working on, like a project or a business lesson or a life lesson that I took away from the past few days or the past week, just so that I can really shed some light on what it's really like to be a small business owner, especially in the food business and in the pop-up scene. So, all right, let's talk about the previous week. I always like to open up my calendar just to see what was on my calendar and then kind of go from there. So last week, that's right. My weeks are really a blur, to tell you the truth, because it goes by so fast, and I live my life, or I see my life in the grand scheme of things from Monday to Sunday. Monday is the beginning of my week, and Sunday is the last day of the week for me, compared to, I know, normally, typically the calendar days go from Sunday to Saturday, but that's just not how it makes sense in my head. So Monday is always the first day of the week for me. So Mondays is why Mondays I chose to do this Prep Talk live show, because I really want to plan the week with you guys. It's the start of my week, and I just want to make sure that basically I'm starting with my best foot forward. And I lost focus there. And I want to make sure that I have my head on straight before the crazy starts. So last week was a little bit hectic. There's a lot going on last week. We had a pop-up on Saturday here in our local area, and then on top of that, it was daylight savings time on Sunday, and then I had an event to attend for my friends that I contributed to their book. The book is called In Her Purpose, and there was that event on Sunday that I needed to attend, and then I also had a play date, I guess you would say, at Disney with our friends. So we went to Disney on Wednesday last week, and then on top of that, all of the things, right? Like all of the business things, like prepping for the pop-up, my regular standing meetings with my accountability partners, and all of those things were still going on. And so it was a little bit of a hectic week, just because it was the start of a pop-up week. And so when you have a pop-up on the weekend, it kind of throws you off, because for us, at least, we don't have a pop-up every single weekend. So since when we do have a pop-up, we have a lot of prep to do, because we want to make sure all our ingredients are fresh. We prep everything as close to the date of the pop-up as possible, and that way we're not holding food. So that being said, that's why pop-up weeks tend to be a little bit busier than most, but it's always so much fun. It's always so worth it. So let's go in order of the days. So Monday, I had the Prep Talk live show. I kind of focus on my coaching business on Mondays, and I try my best to really get the start of the week going. That way I have a handle on what needs to get done. And then I can kind of divvy up all the projects and tasks throughout the rest of the week. And then on Tuesday, my husband Charlie goes into our ghost kitchen to do production, any restocking of our online store, any wholesale orders, that type of thing. He typically does on Tuesdays. And then I have a standing meeting with one of my accountability partners, as well as an operations meeting with a company that I'm consulting for. So that's Tuesday. And then Wednesdays, typically, I have my coaching call with my business coach. But since we were going to Disney this week, Charlie and I weren't able to make the coaching call because we wanted to spend time with our dear friends who also has a son that's about the same age as Micah. And we wanted them to be able to spend the day together, have a lot of fun. And it was just so good. I also had another call with another accountability partner earlier that morning that kind of set the day off really nicely. It's always so refreshing to talk to my accountability partners and to just talk to them about, like, in real time what I'm going through, because the more we meet, the more we talk, the more we get to know each other, and the more we get to learn about our business habits, our personal life habits, and things that we want to change and improve. And they're able to give me such valuable insight because we've gotten to know each other so well. And so I would never miss those meetings for the life of me, because they really contribute so much to my inspiration, my motivation to keep working and keep doing what I'm doing on a personal and business level throughout the week. And it's just so important to me. So I make sure I carve out time as much as possible to make sure that these meetings don't get looked over, or, I work my schedule around it so that I also don't have to reschedule if possible. So that was Wednesday. And then Thursday was kind of a nice, relaxing day. We were able to kind of recover from Disney. We had a few things that we needed to do, run a few errands, that type of thing. So it was kind of a catch-up day. And then Friday, Micah had a Mommy and Me class. So Charlie and I took him to his class in the morning. And then I had a wonderful conversation, actually, with a girl who wanted to interview me for her study that she's doing on Filipino Americans and the food scene here in Los Angeles. So I had a wonderful, amazing conversation with her, and the having conversations about just the evolution of the Filipino American food scene, especially here in LA, is just something that I can talk about all day long, as well as the Filipino American upbringing, right? And being able to talk to her about it and just be an open book to her and be able to share my experience was just so therapeutic. I haven't had an opportunity to participate in an interview in a really long time, just because usually I'm always doing panels and things like that prior to the pandemic, but we're only now starting to really bounce back and have live events and things like that. And so ever since then, I haven't really had the opportunity to be able to share my story or share my perspective. And it was really fun and exciting to be able to contribute in that way. So that was really cool. So that was Friday. And then there's basically Thursday and Friday, we prepped for the pop-up. The pop-up was Saturday afternoon, and that was great. We had a wonderful time at the pop-up. We had some great support, and it just went off without a hitch. I think we've been doing our pop-ups, especially at this location. Our friends at Cafe Aficionado, they always host us at least once a month, and it's on our local turf here in Northridge, California. And so it's always a great event because it's just so routine now. The only thing that ever really changes is the menu, And we love that because, that's one thing that we love so much about pop-up events is, you can get creative. It doesn't have to necessarily be the same thing every time. And it really gets to flex our creative muscles a little bit. Um, Especially Charlie's, my husband. He's able to really get creative with the menu and do something fun versus I know at the cafe when, you're open 6 days a week like we were. People are expecting a menu that they can open and flip through and have that consistency. But what's fun at a pop up is, like, of course, you want to have your normal, consistent items that are your best sellers, but you can also add something a little bit fun and different. And Charlie was starting to, I could tell he wasn't having fun cooking the same old thing over and over and over again. And it would only get really fun when we would change the menu up. And that's just the nature of the beast, right? So with these pop-ups, it's just so much fun to be able to get creative every single time and do something a little different. And then Sunday, I had an event that I attended for my In Her Purpose friends. If you aren't aware, I had the honor of contributing to this book that two of my friends wrote. And it's just a compilation of stories of these amazing women. And I was lucky enough to be one of those women selected to be interviewed for this book. And they had an event in Century City here in LA at the Pixie Boutique, Pixie Beauty Boutique. And I went with a friend of mine and we just stopped by to support, said hello to all the friends. It was really nice to be able to see familiar faces that I haven't seen in over 2 years. It just I felt this sense of normalcy in some ways, and it felt really nice to be able to get together again. So that was last week. It was quite eventful. This week is turning out to be pretty full as well. So this week, I have a few things. Our big thing is we have a gala to attend on Sunday. The gala is for the Philippine American Chamber here in LA. And so it's their annual gala. It's our first time attending. There we go. It's our first time attending as a business, and we're so excited and happy to support them. And like I said, get together with people again, because at events like this, I don't look at them as networking opportunities, but just to show support. It matters a lot to the people that support you to show that support back. And so that's why I make time and carve out time to do things like this, because it's so important to show support back to the people that support you. And I remember so many times how, my In Her Purpose fam, I call them my In Her Purpose fam, but the ladies that wrote the book, they promote our stuff anytime we have something and they catch it on social media. They'll promote and post about us. Anytime we have a win, like something that we're gonna, something that we're excited to share about our brand, our products, they share it. And same goes with the Philippine Chamber and all the other organizations that I've actually found true friends within the industry in. And if they support me, the least I can do is support them too. So I have 2 events that I might be attending this weekend. One is the gala. That's happening no matter what. We already carved out time and put it in our calendar. And then I have a possible event that I'm going to be attending on Saturday the 19th. And it's for an organization called Entrepreneurship. And I have to give it to this organization, Anna Marie, who runs Entrepreneurship. She has been such an advocate for the Philippine American community, including me. She's just phenomenal at what she does. And I'm so grateful and lucky to have met her, because through that organization, I really honestly do feel like I met my people. And excuse me, I've talked about it before, how important it is to have like people in your corner that are within your industry. And I just felt so alone in the past. Like I felt like everyone was against me, or I was afraid to be vulnerable in front of people or be myself. And with the people that I've met through this organization, for one, I found my, like I said, I found my people and I was able to let my guard down, but also it gave me the courage and the confidence that I needed to be able to branch outside of that organization and say to myself that I do have something to offer, not just that organization, but others. And it's okay be to spread your wings, share your story, and like just be yourself, and the right people will come along. It's a really hard thing to really wrap your head around, especially for someone like me that doesn't have the best confidence. But I can't say and stress how important it is to find that group of people. So whether you find them through a chamber of commerce or an organization like entrepreneurship, or just your friends in the pop-up scene that you've been fellow vendors with, like just find those people that you can truly be yourself with and let your guard down with, and just talk about life and business. Because you have your personal friends and then you have your business friends, and sometimes they mix, sometimes they don't, and there are things that you can talk about when you go through things with your business. You call on those people. And the same thing goes with your personal life. If you're going through something in your personal life, there are certain people that you call upon. And so I personally didn't have anyone that I could call upon when it came to my business. No one that could resonate with what I was really going through until I found the right group of people. And I can't tell you how much more success we've had thanks to them. And I can't tell you how invaluable and grateful I am that I knew them when things got really hard, because they were the ones that helped us in our biggest time of need. When I was, when we were at the point of just breaking apart and just, having to close and being so lost and unsure, they were there. They were there to help us pick up the pieces, help us put them back together in a new way, help us to see a better outlook on our situation. And because of our community, we were able to turn it around and still be around, still be here. And that's something I'm never, ever, ever going to take for granted. It's something that I'm going to hold close to my heart forever. And it's not something that I take lightheartedly. And that's the reason why I do this show. That's the reason why I give as much as I can, because I really want to pay that forward. The kindness that other people have shown me, I'm never going to be able to repay unless I pay it forward. And so that's why I'm here, right? So this week is a lot about that. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the background that I can't necessarily share yet, because it's not just my story to tell, but there's a lot going on, and I can't wait to share with you guys what that is. In regards to what I can share with you guys, I started this community at the beginning of this year called Powered Up Pop-Ups. And, I started with basically no one in the community, and now we are 14 people strong, and that's so exciting to me. And so I'm making it a priority to make sure that I can connect people where it's needed. I can provide resources to people that might need help finding something, as well as providing just a safe place to talk. So if that sounds like you and it sounds like a place that you want to be a part of, it's completely free. The information to join will be down below, and I'd love to have you. There is an application process because we don't take everyone, and it's not, just all about self-promotion. It's about getting something out of the community and contributing to it. So that's why we do have an application process, but I'm really excited to be able to keep pushing it forward and really pushing the limits of myself and making sure that I can be of service and pay forward all the things that I've learned to others, and it's just my happy place. I love going in there and sharing and giving as much as I can. So that is what's on the plan for this week. Micah also has 2 mommy and me classes that I'm taking him to on Wednesday and Friday, which will be nice. He can play with other kids. And then another thing that we're working on this week that's a huge project is we're going to be enrolling Micah into like a daycare, I guess, like a Montessori school, that type of thing. And so we have a lot of research to do. And that's something that we're working on this week, Charlie and I together, so that we can enroll him. And the main reason why is, one, he loves hanging out with other kids. Like, he is just so happy when he has the opportunity to play with others. So I knew it was time. And then second of all, as a mom, it's so hard to balance. And I'm sure you guys know this. Like, it's just so hard for me to balance work and spending time with him. I'm constantly either on my phone or on my iPad checking things, trying to create social media, trying to do tasks, trying to email people back, and all of that stuff, all while watching him. And I just feel this sense of guilt because I feel like I'm ignoring him. And so I talked to Charlie about it. We discussed it together, and we just feel like if I can even get 2 days a week where he would be gone for 3 or 4 hours, I can get all the things I need done for the week, the majority of it. And then from there, I can really focus when he comes back home and spend the time with him, quality time with him, so that I don't feel this sense of guilt or feel like I'm ignoring him. So I just don't want to split my time or my focus like that, just because these years with him, the beginning years with Micah, is just so pivotal. And I know that. And I know I'm not going to get it back. So I want to make sure that the time I do spend with him, I'm focused on him. I have every intention of engaging with him and playing with him, so he feels seen, he feels heard, he feels this sense of enjoyment and fun when we play together, and he knows that that time is special. And then on top of that too, he gets that engagement and socialization with other kids, so that he also knows how to interact with people his age, not just adults. And he can have fun in that way too, because that's something that I cannot give him. I can't be a kid, right? Like, I can act like one, but I can't literally be a 2-year-old, one of his peers, and be that for him. And so I think it's really important at his age to at least give him those moments, whether it's part-time or full-time. And for us, the decision is part-time, because I do have the luxury, and I know I'm truly blessed for this. I have the luxury to choose. I don't have to put him in full-time. And so I can have him other days of the week. And like I said, I've structured our business where, I can get most of my work done in 2 days. If I have 4 hours of uninterrupted time, I can get most of what I need done in those 2 days. It was not that way, and it was not that case in previous years, but I've learned over time, and I realized what was important to me, and I've put in the work. And I'm proud of myself that I did. I put in the work to structure our life and our business so that I can do that. And I can work part-time so that we can have a full-time income. So that's just something that I've worked really hard toward. And I'm proud of myself that I did, because now I'm reaping those benefits. I had to put in a lot of work. I worked more than 40 hours a week in the past, probably 60 hours minimum a week in the past. I would be living and breathing work. It's all I ever thought about. It's all I obsessed about. And now I'm not in that position. I'm finally in a place where I can enjoy both my business and my family, and I am not going to take that for granted. So that's another project that we have on the list this week. Another thing, the progress on our no spend month. So if you guys don't know, we are doing a no excess spending for the month of March. And the only stipulation is if we had booked something in our calendar prior to us deciding to do this no spend, we weren't going to cancel. So for example, last week we went to Disney with our friends, and we had chosen to do that play date with our friends prior to, we planned it like over a month ago. And so since we committed to that before we committed to the no spend month, we decided to still move forward with it. But other than that, we're not doing any excess spending aside from our grocery budget. We're not eating out, none of that stuff. And we're only buying things like essentials. Like if I happen to run out of shampoo, I'll buy it. If we need toothpaste, we'll buy it, that type of stuff. But other than that, no excess spending. And it's actually been working to our favor. We realized that it's not as hard as we thought it to be. So, it's going really well, and I am making a mental list of things that I know I want to buy after this no spend month is over. But it puts a lot of things in perspective, and one of the things that it puts into perspective is like, I've gotten into this bad habit that like if I want something, just suddenly I'm going to make it, or I'm going to buy it, right? And I needed to get myself and pull myself out of that habit, not because of any other reason except to give myself some discipline. You know, I have never been the type to just say, "Oh, I want something, I'm going to buy it right now." I've never been the type. When I used to go shopping for clothes and things like that, I would go through every single store at the mall, make sure I checked everything before I went back to all the stores and picked out what I want and bought it. That's just who I've always been. I have this extreme gratification of like buying something at a discount and how much I saved off of it. Like that's something that I got from my mom for sure, because she was also very like, well, in her own way. Like she was very flashy, but she was also a she loved a good bargain too at the same time. So that bargain aspect of her personality, I definitely got. And so this month, I thought it was going to be really challenging, but it's not that bad. It hasn't been that bad. So, so far, so good. We're halfway through the month and no issues. We'll see how the last half of March goes, but we're doing good. We're chugging away. And I think, and this is something that Charlie and I are going to have to like really mull over for the next 2 weeks of the month before April starts, is I think we're going to reevaluate our budgets. So we use the Mint app to keep track of our spending to see, where we're spending a lot on, and it's usually food. It's usually eating out. And so, that and buying Micah stuff. Gosh, that kid is so spoiled. But with this no spend month, it's really put things into perspective where I got really lenient on our budgets, because basically you can, sync your accounts on Mint and it'll just basically track when you buy something. Like if you sync your credit card to the Mint account, you don't have to manually log it in. Mint will already account for it for you. And then all you need to do is check over and make sure that you're putting it into the right spending category. But, I just always kind of followed what it said on Mint. Like if it said that we were spending $400 a month on eating out, I was like, okay, then let's set our budget to $400 a month. And so what I want to do is I want to cut it, and I want to be a little more frugal, because there are definitely times where, yeah, I want to eat out just because of convenience, not because I truly want to eat something that a restaurant has to offer. And that snowballs into so many causes and effects, right? Like one example would be if I chose to eat out versus eating what's at home, then there's going to be a lot more food that I end up throwing away because I chose to eat out instead. So that's like a cause and effect of my choices. And I hate throwing away food. I guess it's the restaurateur in me, it's the restaurant owner in me. I'm also, very conscious about waste and stuff like that in our house, and it just bugs me. I'm heartbroken when I have to throw food away. And so, if I know that I don't enjoy that and I take gratification in finishing something and there's minimal waste to it, I'm definitely going to make that a priority. So, that's kind of another reason why things like budgeting are bigger than just saving money, but it's also just the way that things make you feel and the mental aspect of what it does. So I really feel good about this refresh with our finances. That's going to be helping a lot. And I know obviously saving money is never a bad thing. So it's been going good so far. All right, so let's jump into this week's agenda. Let's go into my weekly agenda as usual. Let me share my screen really quickly. So here is my HQ. We're gonna go into my weekly agenda. I'm actually going to change something later on, but I'll show you guys that in a little bit. So let's create a new weekly agenda. It's going to be for this week. So let's load that weekly template that I created. And it's going to be for the week of March 14 through 20. So let's go ahead and put March 14 through 20 as the title. And then let's focus on, these are for projects. These are just reference things. So I don't have anything just quite yet. Let's go into the affirmation for this week. So there's something that I saved on my Instagram that I thought was a great affirmation. And let me share that with you right now. So it's a super simple one, but it's definitely something that I needed to hear. It says, I am enough and I am where I belong. I am enough and I'm where I belong. It's actually a post from the Woman Evolve Instagram account, and they posted 5 imposter syndrome thought breakers to remind you that you're that girl. So the very top one was, I am enough and I'm where I belong. They also shared 4 more. I am deserving of living in God's plan for me. I am equipped and I can ask for support. Ooh, that one hits. Another one says, I have the power to make a difference. And the last one says, I am capable of releasing myself from self-sabotaging behaviors. Those are powerful. So whatever, I felt like I needed to read them out loud. So whatever actually resonates with you, maybe you put that in your journal this week as an affirmation that you want to say to yourself. But for me, it's the very top one that says, I am enough and I am where I belong. I am enough and I am where I belong. I can't tell you how long I've lived my life in a way where I've always just wished I was where someone else was. So much so to the point that I wished that I was that person and not me. And I'm just being completely honest here that I've been there and I am there often, but I've done so much work on myself to remind myself that whatever I'm going through, whatever journey I'm on, it's just as good. And if I just keep my head down and keep doing the work and look up occasionally, it'll happen for me too, in my own way, in my own time. That's the reality of it. I can wish and wish and wish to be someone else, but it's never going to happen.